This video ain't for you, Mr. Nice Guy, groveling for forgiveness just for existing as a man. It's not for the dude still betting on a heart-to-heart to turn a manipulative witch into a fairy tale princess. And it sure as hell isn't for the guy sending novel-length texts, begging for a second chance like forgiveness is love's twin brother instead of a one-way ticket to selective amnesia with a side of self-inflicted pain. This is for the man who's been tripped up by his own dignity, betrayed in full HD, Technicolor glory, and still thinks forgiving her is a flex. Oh, the sweet optimism of the clueless. If you're still buying into the myth of the confused woman, the wounded soul, the one working on herself, do your testosterone a solid and go watch couples dancing with filters on TikTok. But if you finally clocked that she doesn't step on you without aiming first, that she knows exactly what she's doing when she rubs another guy in your face, ghosts you when you need her most, or cracks jokes about your ego in front of her friends, pull up a chair. Because today the truth's coming raw. No lube, no filter, no mercy, and definitely no rewind. She tested you, ignored you, devalued you. And you, the empathetic genius, called it her rough patch. She treated you like an emotional punching bag with an expiration date, and you, oh enlightened soul, thought it was a test of true love's patience. The result? You became her consolation prize, her emotional tow truck, her backup plan with a heartbeat. And the real kicker, you did it with a smile, thinking it was a badge of honor. Here's a truth no one's got the guts to tell you. Every time you forgive a woman who spits on your worth, she doesn't learn to love you. She learns to tame you, turns you into her emotional lapdog, a golden retriever of self-esteem. The modern man's become a doormat with a TED Talk on personal growth. A martyr for a relationship only he's fighting to keep alive. We grew up hearing forgiveness is noble, that love means acceptance, that she just needs understanding. So you got trained to be her unpaid therapist, fixing her broken soul. You gave her second, third, fourth chances to someone who turned the first one into a horror show. And now, you're quietly destroying yourself, loyal to someone who betrays your soul weekly, saving a relationship where you're the only one bleeding, and still picking up the tab for dinner. But today, it's over. This video is the funeral for Mr. Nice Guy, the burial of the pushover who thought love was a penance. You're not the new messiah. You weren't born to carry anyone's cross. Least of all a woman in an ego crisis with a knack for playing the emotional villain. You were born to own your life, and a woman who doesn't respect that doesn't deserve your good night. She deserves a clean ghosting and ice-cold silence. Because the man who forgives disrespect, emotional betrayal, cruel jabs, or strategic disappearances isn't mature. He's a puppet, an emergency fallback, a band-aid for the day the real bad boy bails. And he still says thanks for being remembered, like a good bench warmer dreaming of the starting lineup. But from now on, the game changes. The nice guy dies. The fool levels up. The voice speaking here isn't the lovesick puppy anymore. It's the trauma that grew legs, walked away, and ditched the tissues. Welcome to Project Ice. But before we dive in, let's spark what's left of your brain cells. This video didn't fall from the sky. It's not karma. It's not divine intervention. It's the algorithm, and algorithms don't have hearts, they have code. They only deliver if you feed them. So if you're sitting there with a sour face watching like the universe owes you a hug, congrats. You're earning a trophy for being clueless. Like, comment, subscribe, drop a grateful in the comments just to pretend you've learned something. And then, the emotional knockout begins. Number 1, the unforgivable mistake. The unforgivable mistake isn't when she cheats with another body. It's when she betrays you with intent. When she deliberately cuts you where it hurts most. When she uses silence as a weapon, ghosts you to watch you crawl, compliments another guy in your face just to test your reaction, humiliates you with sarcasm in front of others, compares you to her ex, her friend, or someone who's never been you. That's the mistake you don't forgive. Not the act, but the purpose. She didn't slip up by accident. She tested the limits of your dignity. She knew she was crossing the line and pushed further to see if you'd break or swallow it quietly. Why'd she do it? Because she wanted to. Because she knew you weren't going anywhere. Because a woman only pulls that kind of psychological power play when she's already sniffed out that you don't have the balls to walk away. That's why it's unforgivable. Not because it hurts, but because it reveals a truth you're scared to face. She's not afraid of losing you. And if she's not afraid of losing you, there's nothing left worth saving. The unforgivable mistake doesn't kill the relationship, it kills respect. And once respect's dead, any attempt at forgiveness turns into a rom-com starring a desperate guy trying to revive an emotional corpse. That's when a man should stand up and walk out. But that's exactly when most drop to their knees and beg. And that's when the doormat is born. Because forgiving that kind of thing doesn't save love, it buries your dignity. Number 2, the day you forgive is the day you destroy yourself. There's a precise moment when a man breaks himself. It's not when he's cheated on, not when he's humiliated, not when he's replaced. It's when he forgives what he shouldn't. That's the silent second when his soul cracks, but his face still smiles. That's when she realizes you have no limits. She can do whatever she wants, and you'll understand, you'll justify, you'll forgive, because you're the nice guy, because you're scared, because you love too much. You think you've won her back, but in her head, she's already buried you. You didn't become her partner. You became her doormat. From that day on, every good morning she sends drips with contempt. Every kiss tastes like pity. Every comeback comes with a smirk that says, "Yup, he's too spineless to leave." And the worst part? She might come back, might call you the love of her life, might swear things will be different, but nothing changes. Because respect died the moment you said, "It's okay, I get it." She doesn't admire you anymore. She tolerates you. Because a woman doesn't respect a man who takes everything lying down. You thought it was a beautiful gesture, but you just signed your emotional death certificate. You went from desired to dependable, from priority to fallback option. She knows you'll forgive, knows you won't draw a line. He knows your boundaries are just empty talk. And everyone takes advantage of a guy too weak to slam the door. So don't kid yourself. The day you forgive her for testing you, disrespecting you, comparing you, mocking you, that's the day you become anything but a man. Number 3, the doormat profile. How you transform without noticing. It starts as the nice guy, understanding, patient, ready to talk, to hear her side, to excuse her trauma and crises. At first, he thinks he's strong for taking it all in silence. Thinks maturity means brushing off disrespect like it's no big deal. Convinces himself that giving in is emotional intelligence. But bit by bit, he stops being a man, stops setting boundaries, says yes when he should have vanished, texts when he should have gone silent, explains himself for things he never did, blames himself for moves she calculated coldly. And what does she do with that? She trains her manipulation, trains her guilt tripping, trains her emotional control game. And you, thinking you're evolving as a partner, are just sinking as a man. Because you're no longer someone she respects, you're someone she controls. The doormat doesn't come out of nowhere. He's built from the crumbs of humiliation he chose to accept. Every time you heard you're too sensitive after saying something hurt you, you became more of a doormat. Every time you got you're overreacting after clear disrespect, another step down. And when you swallowed "you need to trust me more" after watching her flirt with someone else, you were already her official emotional floor mat. The doormat is the guy so desperate to keep the relationship that he lets it walk all over him. And the worst part? He still smiles, saying, "It's just a rough phase." No, brother. It's not a phase. It's a dynamic, a role. And you signed up for the starring part. The emotional fool who thinks it's love when it's really dependency disguised as kindness. Once you're in that role, either you disappear for good, or she molds you until you can't even recognize your own voice. Number 4. What goes through her mind after you forgive? She doesn't think, "What an incredible guy, he forgave me despite my screw-up." She thinks, "What a pushover, that's all it takes?" What you see as strength, she sees as weakness. What you call mature love, she calls emotional predictability. Because a woman tests a man's limits not to regret it, but to see how far she can go. When you forgive too quickly, too easily, too soon, you hand her the keys. She knows she doesn't need to change, doesn't need to improve, doesn't need to fear losing you, because the nice guy you've become will always be there, ready to forgive, ready to talk, ready to cry with her. And she'll use that. She'll come back when she's lonely, ghost you when she finds someone else, keep you on emotional standby until she figures out what she wants. And you, thinking you're the guy she chose, are just the one she keeps around so she's not alone. Because after forgiveness, she doesn't feel gratitude, she feels control. She knows she can mess up again, knows you won't leave, knows you're scared, and nothing turns a woman off more than a man with no consequences. You might have been the most loyal, the most present, the most caring, but the second you forgave her absence, her coldness, her disdain, she got the memo. She's running the show now. The emotional yardstick is hers. The only thing you're offering is tolerance. And nobody respects someone who takes everything. Not her, not even you. So the problem isn't just forgiving, it's what forgiveness reveals. And if you think she'll be moved by it, congrats. You're more delusional than she is at the peak of her manipulation. Number 5. The addictive cycle, forgiveness, disdain, relapse. It's always the same. She screws up, you hurt. She ghosts, you beg. She comes back, you forgive. And at first it feels like it worked. The talk is sweet. The promises wrapped in soft tones and teary eyes. You think this time it'll be different. But give it a few days. A slip up here, a cold shoulder there, a curt reply, a disappearance with no explanation. And it starts all over. Because it's not love, it's addiction. A toxic loop where what keeps you hooked isn't the feeling, it's the hope. The illusion that she'll change. That this time she gets it. That now she loves you for real. But deep down, it's just repetition. She acts, you accept. She breaks, you fix. She disrespects, you persist. And with every round, your worth drops lower. Because she already knows the ending. Knows you'll forgive. Knows you'll blame yourself. Knows you'll take on her mistakes just to keep the us alive. And the tragedy? You start getting used to it. To her absence. To her tests. To her disdain. To the emptiness. You start convincing yourself this is normal. That all relationships are like this. That true love is peaks and valleys. And then you start thinking suffering is proof you love. That forgiveness is a sign of maturity. That enduring it all is the price of happiness. But it's not. This isn't love. It's consensual self-destruction. A silent deal where she tortures you emotionally. And you thank her for sticking around. And the cruelest part? She knows it. And uses it. And will keep using it. Until you're completely broken. Because if you stay in the cycle, you've already lost yourself. Number 6. The nice guy becomes the clown of the story. At first, he's the dream. The perfect guy. The one who replies fast, showers her with compliments, is always available, takes it all with a smile. The guy who listens to her vent about her ex, hears her talk about other men without flinching, gives gifts even after being ignored. He's sweet, polite, loving, and also the easiest to manipulate. The nice guy is the one she turns to when she's empty, when she needs to feel wanted, when she wants someone waiting while she figures out what she really wants. But the nice guy, poor thing, thinks he's winning, thinks his devotion will make her see his value, thinks she'll wake up one day and say, "My God, it was you all along." But she never wakes up, because deep down she knows exactly who he is, the guy she can bend with a tear, control with a ghosting, manipulate with a promise. The nice guy doesn't command respect, he offers comfort. He's not the man she desires. He's the one she keeps in her emotional drawer, next to the old sweater she only wears on cold days. And the saddest part, he keeps trying, keeps pushing, even when she ghosts, even when she snubs him, even when she flaunts the bad boy in his face. He's still there, clapping, smiling, holding flowers at the gate of someone who walked out months ago. The nice guy becomes a joke, a background character, a contact saved as call if lonely, and he still thinks he's winning by not walking away. But the truth is brutal. She doesn't see him as a man. She sees him as an emotional utility with an expiration date. And in the end, he's the guy she'll describe as so nice, but something was missing. Missing what? Edge. Missing the guts to disappear. Missing the spine to say, I don't deserve this. But the nice guy doesn't have that. He's got a soft heart and self-esteem on layaway. So, he always ends up the clown of the story. Number 7. Female nature doesn't respect a man who takes everything. She might say she admires your kind heart, loves your patience, appreciates your empathy. But in reality, she doesn't respect you. Because a woman doesn't respect someone who takes it all, doesn't value someone who sets no boundaries, doesn't desire someone who's always there, available, submissive, saying amen to everything in the name of true love. Her nature works differently. She respects what commands presence, what disappears when disrespected, what doesn't beg out of neediness, what responds to coldness with absence, what doesn't chase crumbs of attention but becomes the silence she'll never forget. The man who takes everything becomes scenery, routine, an emotional crutch. Because a woman tests, yes. She tests to see if you'll stand your ground, if you've got spine, if you've got the courage to lose her to save yourself. And if she sees you take it all, forgive it all, understand it all, she loses interest. Because now she knows you have no price. You have neediness. And a man with no price becomes inventory, reusable, replaceable, disposable. She might say she loves a sensitive guy, but she falls for the firm one, the one who says no, who walks away, who answers coldness with silence, who doesn't beg, doesn't explain, doesn't humiliate himself, because that man is rare, and what's rare is valuable. What's common becomes an emotional free-for-all. So get it straight. The more you tolerate, the less she respects. The more you forgive, the more she tests. The more you explain, the more she compares. And in the end, you're just another nice guy who doesn't stir her soul. A woman respects what she feels she could lose. And if she doesn't feel that from you, she doesn't respect you. She uses you. Number 8, the coldness that saves a man. When everything fails, the talks, the affection, the understanding, the mature, let's work this out chats. Only one thing's left. Coldness. Not the petty coldness of revenge or a bruised ego looking for payback, but lucid coldness. The kind that comes when a man finally gets that he's given too much to someone who couldn't hold on to any of it. That's the coldness that saves, that rebuilds, that quiets the inner chaos and turns pain into boundaries. Because the silence of a man who loved and was disrespected has more power than any grand speech. When you stop reacting, she panics. When you stop chasing, she loses control. When you don't reply, don't comment, don't defend, don't explain, she starts unraveling in her own game. Because up until now, she played you like a fiddle. One ghosting and you'd show up. One tear and you'd take the blame. One jab and you'd justify yourself. But now you're gone for real, and she doesn't know where to find you. That coldness terrifies her because it shows you don't need her anymore. You're not trapped. You're not waiting for a gesture, a comeback, an explanation. And that wrecks her ego. Because every woman deep down wants to know you're still hurting, still feeling, still responding. But when you go silent, not out of pride, but because you're done, she feels the loss in a way no heart-to-heart could ever convey. Coldness is the shield for the man tired of taking hits while trying to save someone who only knew how to destroy. And when you put on that armor, your emotions are off limits. You become an enigma, a mystery, a consequence. You stop begging for love and start becoming the kind of man who won't let himself be hurt by scraps of neediness anymore. Coldness isn't the absence of feeling, it's the presence of self-respect. Number 9, the power of not coming back. She might text you weeks later, might show up with a soft voice saying she's been thinking about you, might post a cryptic story with a sappy song, claim she dreamed about you, even hit you with a just checking if you're okay. But you know the script. You've seen this play before, only now you don't come back. And that's when the story changes. Because the man who doesn't come back isn't remembered fondly, he's remembered with regret, with anxiety, with a sinking feeling of what did I do? She expected the same old cycle. Her mistake, your short silence, your predictable relapse, the talk that ends in forgiveness. and the stage set for her to mess up again. But now the script's broken, because the lead walked off. For real. No long text. No reply. No announcement. And that absence hits hard. It gnaws. Because the silence you deliver now isn't empty. It's a verdict. And she feels it. Every day you don't come back is a stab to her ego. Because this time she lost. Not because you wanted to hurt her, but because you got tired of being the only one trying. Because the man who doesn't come back understands that respect can't be rebuilt with nostalgia. That love can't be remade from a history of pain. That forgiveness doesn't bring back what was buried with every test, every cold shoulder, every bit of disdain dressed up as an emotional crisis. When you choose not to come back, you don't disappear. You become an absence with impact, a presence in her thoughts, a permanent consequence. The power of the man who doesn't return is that he leaves something the nice guy never could. Silence with weight. And that's the silence she'll hear every time she tries to play the same game with someone else, thinking she can repeat the story. But with you, she can't anymore, because the man who used to forgive became the man who vanished without asking permission. Number 10. The new you. The version she can't control anymore. She remembers your puppy dog eyes, your trembling voice begging her to stay, your late-night texts saying, "I just want to understand what happened," your pathetic attempts to save what was already an emotional minefield. She remembers the accessible, predictable guy who cried in secret, who stared at his phone like an abandoned dog waiting for its owner to turn the corner. But that guy, he's dead, and what rose in his place isn't the hopeful, nice guy anymore. It's the cold one. The calculated one, the man who doesn't bend for a "hey stranger," and that scares her, because she lost her power, the same power that fed her ego when you begged, that let her ghost you knowing you'd still be there. Now she doesn't know where to find you, because the new you doesn't announce, doesn't explain, doesn't plead. The new you doesn't need to post a glow-up quote to prove he's changed, he just vanished. He became the void she didn't see coming, the puzzle she can't solve. The bitter reflection of everything she broke, thinking she could glue it back together later. And the cruelest part? The new you doesn't even carry anger. Because true coldness doesn't shout, doesn't accuse, doesn't seek revenge. He just closes the door and disappears without an echo. The new you is the silent trauma. The name she doesn't say, but that haunts her every time she tries to connect with someone and feels nothing compares. Because the new you carries something no one else does, the bitter taste of the regret she pretended not to have. And that version, she'll never control, because the man reborn from pain is the man who will never step back into the emotional cage he escaped. Number 11, a knockout closing. You called it love. She called it a game. And in the end, you were both right. She played your heart like a cheap casino chip, and you loved your own humiliation like a collector cherishing scars as trophies. But relax, the bill's here, and it came with no discount, no payment plan, and no emotional refund. Because the man who forgives everything doesn't earn respect. He earns contempt. The same contempt she hides behind a "thanks for understanding" while texting the next guy in line. Every time you kneel for someone who knocked you down, you dig your own emotional grave and plant flowers on it, thinking it's growth. You thought it was maturity, thought it was true love, thought she was just confused. Nah, champ. The only crisis was your cowardice in walking out of an open prison. And now, it's too late. Because once you taste your own worth, once you get used to the silence of someone who doesn't deserve you, there's no going back to being anyone's emotional clown. Today you learned that too much forgiveness isn't a sign of light. It's a fire alarm. That not every apology comes with regret. Sometimes it's just a tactic to keep you as a backup. And a woman who tests the limits of your love deserves to feel the weight of your permanent absence. No need to yell. No need for revenge, no need for cryptic posts, just vanish. Ghost with class. Because real power isn't in showing how much you love, It's in showing how much you learned to love yourself after she broke you into pieces and thought she could patch you up with duct tape. And that, my friend, that's something she'll never forget. If this truth hits you where it counts, drop in the comments. Never again will I settle for crumbs disguised as love. I want to see who's done playing the fool in someone else's drama. Who's become the silence even her ego can't reach. This is Project Ice, and from here on out, it's like this. Either you stand your ground, or you stay a doormat. The choice is yours. Keep being her consolation prize, or finally become the trophy of your own freedom.